Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Shootin Gallery. Another moment in time, another moment existing, really. All just the same moment in a different perceived time. But what's up? I'm glad you exist. I'm happy you're here. You know, even if it's not watching the podcast, even if you don't know I exist, still happy you exist. Because you are me and I am you, and we are one. And I feel like that is God, right? It's just the energy, the oneness, everything. And then once you have that realization, you just live like it, right? Easier said than done, obviously. Well, shit. But that's why it's another episode of just practicing being present. Just doing what feels right, doing what comes naturally, thinking out loud, and just seeing what comes next, right? Being authentic, of course. That being said, I am packing up a little tote for myself here. I would highly suggest y'all do the same if y'all want to join me. And yeah, let's get this guy packed up. We gonna rip. And then I got a few points that I could talk about, but we see what happens. I was doing some thinking today. I don't know, I've been tired today since yesterday was July 1st. I don't know, I don't really celebrate Canada Day as a rule. It is. I'm just not that big of a fan of the idea of the independence of the people who own the land or who, like, I don't know. I put it on my Instagram story. I kind of related it to Israel-Palestine situation because I'm sure if Israel wiped out Palestine that they would make it a national holiday and go, oh yes, this is the Israel's national holiday for getting the land back, whatever you want to say, like. And then there would be the people who support it. Oh yeah, it's Israel's Independence Day or whatever they want to call it. And then there would be others that don't, right? And that's the thing, like, yesterday I did go down to the water in town with Jewel and we went to watch the fireworks, right? But we both wore orange, just as a little, like, well, in the dark it did still kind of look red, so it's like, okay, it kind of works both ways, because then other people see it, they're like, oh, that could be red, that's probably red, and then they don't think anything of it. But then we are supporting a cause that we think is, what is it? More worth supporting, I guess, like more, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe it, but up here in Canada, and I'm sure in the States too, I'm sure it's more North America, but if you don't know, in Canada specifically, that's the experience that I can talk from. We have this movement called Every Child Matters, which is to promote, like, recognizing and remembering what happened with the residential schools, and what happened when Europeans first came over to Canada with the natives. And it's sad, and it's sad, but it needs to be looked at, not necessarily in a way of, like, to feel shame about it, but to, like, learn from history so you don't repeat it. And you go, like, what was it? My mom was here this weekend, and we watched Trevor Noah's, 2 of his stand-up specials on YouTube. No, we watched his more recent one. The other one we watched a little bit, and then we turned it off. But his more recent one, and he was mentioning... What was I talking about now? Oh, that's really annoying. Because I'm just going to have to let it go. And it'll come back to me. What was I talking about? It slipped my mind. I lost where I was going with it. We're watching Trevor Noah. What was I talking about before that? Yeah, and then see that the harder you try to think about it, the worse it gets. But I'm sure you can put two and two together and read between the lines of where I was going with that. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. That one really tripped me up, and now I'm trying to cling on to this idea of something that I had, an idea of an idea, and it's like, how can you do that? How can you speak with certainty? How can you know what you were going to say at all? You had an idea of somewhere you wanted to be, and now the path changed, and you're somewhere else, I'm somewhere else. Maybe that's just as important as the thing that I was wanting to say in the first place, is to realize that it doesn't matter, and you don't have to beat yourself up, and you just... pieces. Food went off. Like her machine fed her. But yeah, there's no place you have to be. Just live experiencing life, like experiencing the moment. Do what feels right. I seen, who was it? Richard Monkton on Instagram post a video talking about, like, he wasn't trying to, like, call anybody out or say that there's anything wrong with it, but he was just curious, like, how can you be present and reflect on your past, because then you're going back to the past. And I left a comment saying, just do what feels natural or what feels right in the moment, and if it is going back to relive a memory, look at a memory, try to find what the root of that was, or why you're feeling like that, or why it's coming up again, and then try to do the shadow work and try to do the shadow work with it. And that's something I've been trying to do, and I need to do more of. I recently talked with a therapist, and I realized, oh yeah, I have been masking for a long time, and I have been bottling up so many emotions and feelings, and just, I'm at a point in my life now where I feel like now I can almost only do what I truly want, because when I was a kid, I had to mask and pretend to be more grown up or to do stuff I didn't truly want to do. And now I'm at a point in life, and I'm not even that old, I'm 22. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm like, well, why the fuck would I do anything but what I want to do now that I have some sort of freedom, some sense of it anyways, like, but that's I don't know, maybe that's an experience I had to have. And then if I ever either have my own kids or adopt or like become an uncle, or when they say like uncle this, uncle that, like friends, what is it? If your friends have kids, and then you're the uncle to their kids, just being a role model. Now, where was I going with that? F sakes. Just being a role model and not, listening to what they have to say. Because holy shit, there's so many times where, sorry if you hear the siren going, sorry, I want to let it go so it doesn't mess up the audio possibly. And watch, maybe I'm making an assumption. Oh, that was pretty loud. Nice, okay. I'll session, then I'll close the window up. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, whether it's you being a parent to your own kid or you being a parental figure to somebody else's kids, it's like you have to listen to what they have to say, because if you don't and you just put on this pressure, this idea of what you want them to be or what you think they should be, then they're gonna think they need to be something that, like, you know what I mean? And that shit pissed me off a lot as a kid. I felt like I kind of missed a lot of my childhood because, well, one, I had to go entertain myself. I wasn't like, I don't know. I could kind of break down the early years of my life, but if I had to sum it up in a few sentences, it would be like, I did get spoiled because I had family that I only got to see like once or twice a year, twice if I was lucky, or no, not even once a year or every 2 years. so it would be less time, right? So I would get spoiled by that family. I didn't have siblings. I was an only child, so I would get the toys that I wanted or whatever. But then it got lonely because I felt like I had to be grown up. I was raised in a house I grew up in a house with my parents, my mom's mom and her parents, and no siblings. So it was all grown-ups and adults, and just, like, it changes your brain structure, honestly. It changes the chemistry of it, because I feel like it's the narcissistic parents thing, or, like, I don't know, maybe I live with multiple narcissists, who knows. But, like, just, being hyper vigilant. Sorry, I won't shake the camera too much. Being hyper vigilant on people's emotions and how they feel, and but them not really taking how you feel into consideration, and just like, I grew up with that, and now, I feel like, I can read people's emotions so good. It's like, well, why? Where did that come from? Was it because you, like, genuinely enjoy reading emotions or understanding people and how they feel, or is it because it's a survival tactic that you picked up because you felt like you needed to, right, to survive? Like, and life's kind of crazy like that. It's like the amount of shit we pick up thinking that we need, or it means anything, or it's like, it's not. It's just part of living and existing, but it doesn't mean anything, Dude. But let's get a little tote going, shall we? This is what feels good to me. This is what feels right. I love doing it. Helps me feel present, in my opinion. It's just how I feel. And then, we get to some of the talking points, What do I got? Yeah, dreams and goals in life, realizing we're all one. Yeah, and a few other cool things. Yeah. I think this will be a good episode because it exists. That's the only reason it will be good, It's like, no time like the present, just do it. Don't overthink shit. Doesn't have to be anywhere. Just there. And I got a good analogy for that after. Not even my own, but I can not relay, not rebuttal, like, I can bring one that I heard to you. I forget the word for it, but like the messenger. Shooting the messenger, or whatever, being the messenger. There's a word for that. I'm feeling a little spacey today. It's probably because I'm tired, because I stayed up hella late last night and I woke up early, but, that's okay. That's part of life, too. Sometimes sometimes you have those days because you had those nights because you were living life at another point and you partied a little too hard, You see? Looking good out there. Let's get her going. If you're not touching, you best be blessed, and I appreciate y'all watching, whether it's it's not on stream, so it's not live or mod, it's just a video. But yeah, I appreciate y'all watching, and just, Oh, sorry, I need to drink more coffee. Jesus. Whether it's, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, whether it's just something to put on in the background and you're not really listening, or if you're super intently listening and this speaks volumes to you, whatever it is, it's like, it's just, I'm doing this for me, literally and figuratively, because even the audience is me, but I'm doing this for myself because this is a practice of being present. This is a practice of getting to the root of stuff and, like, thinking out loud and going, oh, why did I feel that? Why did I feel that? Or why did X lead to B? Sorry. Why did A lead to B lead to C? You know what I mean? Like, Just thinking out loud. Oh. But yeah. We'll rip. Chug some some caffeine. We keep it going, man. I love you. Cheers. Oh, love a good toke, man. I do it a lot, but it hits every time, you know? It's nice. Oh. One second. Oh. Yeah. Some of the tokes I've been having lately, like when I cough, I've been feeling like a pressure in my head over here. It's pretty localized, but nothing too crazy, just like a light headache. I did hear something about, like, if you think you don't have a headache, it can make it, or it can help, not make it go away necessarily, but who knows? Let me close the window, too. Hopefully, even if there are sirens that go by. Again, if they do, it won't bother us too much, right? Cat hair in the coffee, always. Wouldn't be complete without it, you know? Oh, a toke and some coffee, though. Man, if I had a balcony in this apartment, oh, it'd be over for him, man. It'd be over for him. That would just be the best. I'd be sitting out there as much as possible, honestly. That's the goal. Honestly, for the next apartment, if we do another apartment, which we probably will, because price of stuff is stupid, but if we get another apartment, I definitely want a balcony. Just chill out there, get some nice, what's it, like beach chairs or whatever, so you can relax a little bit, or even camping chairs. Shit. But yeah, what were we talking about? Some of the things, let me go into, I was watching the DU Raw, the most recent one that was posted. I watched it on YouTube, so after it was live streamed, right? But Andrew gave a great analogy of, like, driving, life is like driving a car, right? With your idea of self in the backseat, and people are driving, looking back, like pretty much getting confirmation or like getting backseat driven by their idea of self, when they should just be looking forward, paying attention to the road, right? And then he said, in doing that, like when you're looking at your idea of self, being backseat driven by it, it's almost like you're on a roundabout, just going round and round. But when you look forward and you're in the present and you're just driving to enjoy the drive, to just enjoy life, then you start realizing, oh, I can take the exits and get out of the roundabout. Can take the exits, can get off the roundabout and just drive. Just drive straight or take turns or wherever you want to go. But do it because you enjoy driving, not because of the place you're going to end up. Right? And I think that's one of the most important parts of life. It's like just driving to enjoy it, and like, yeah, don't let the idea of you dictate where you should go in the car, you know? Because even the idea of you, of self, isn't what it is, you know? The description is never the described, and you are more than just who or what you think you are, you know? And that's one of the most important, and one of the, like, I don't know, one of the, like, maybe most important realizations you could have in life is the description is not the described. Shout out Krishnamurti. But, like, that's a deep one, because that goes as far, like, you could compare that to anything almost, or you could take it to the nth degree in the sense of, like, yeah, everything. Even when we think of, like, oh, a container, like a to-go container or whatever, like, you didn't finish all your food at the restaurant, you get a to-go box. It's like, yeah, you can think of it as a container to carry home the food that you didn't finish, but then you go into, like, well, what's it made out of? What's it, like, oh, yes, let me get this fossil fuel item that turns into a container with two pieces that connect somehow, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you're describing the container, or you're talking about the container, but are you talking about what the container actually is? Or are you just giving it a name because it serves a purpose? Right? I don't know. I think that's a good one to remember. Right? It's just... It's like driving the car. Do it because you enjoy driving, not because where you're going to end up, right? And in the most literal sense, I feel like that's why I like driving too, because I like the feeling of it. I have my G2, so not my full G license yet, and I don't have a car, but I've practiced driving multiple times. I haven't been on highway yet, but I've heard it's just as easy, if not easier, than city driving, so that's cool. But I like the feeling of it. It's like, it feels cool. It's like you're I don't know if it feels cool because of, like, the control that you get from, like, controlling a vehicle, telling it to go faster, slower, whatever, like, you're giving it the commands, or it's that feeling of, like, being connected to something that isn't you and making it, like, and having something happen, like you're making it move or whatever. I don't know what it is about driving, but it's almost like, because it's not it's not natural in a sense. It's not something that happens in nature, or maybe riding horses is a similar feeling, you know. And that's what I'm connecting to on a spiritual level, on a past self, like connecting to a past self, maybe a cowboy, or even further back, like a native, or what's it? Yeah, like a native, like you know, just people who are more in tune with the land, type of thing. Yeah, I guess we're all native to the earth, kind of thing, you know. It's just how much do we like associate ourselves with where we were born, or like the rules, or these concepts that the world has put in place for us, you know, like countries, like flags, like, oh, I just saw something on Instagram yesterday morning, I think. There was, like, it was at a soccer game, and some Ukrainian fans held up a Russian flag, but they held it up upside down to try and insult Russians. But then this other group of people thought it was their enemy's flag, whatever, and attacked the Ukrainians. But I captioned it, I said, correction, people hold up piece of fabric to try and attack others, but then get attacked themselves. And it's like, why? Is it because of the sense of self, or any concepts at all? Like, just holding on to those ideas that, like, you're shooting yourself in the foot, man. You're not doing yourself any favors just because you're going, oh yeah, I am, like, for myself, I am Canadian, I am this or that. It's like, okay, well, now you're, like, just because you're Canadian, does that mean you're not, like, a human on the earth, like, of the human race, just like a living being on the planet earth? You know what I mean? it separates you from yourself. You're from the other versions of you, you know? From the shit that goes deeper than just the body, the external, where you live, you know what I mean? Uh, yeah. I wish people could, like, realize we have a lot more in common than differences, right? Whether it's, like, our chemistry and the color that we bleed, what we're made of physically, a lot of water, a lot of carbon, a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just, even the fact that people still see color of skin as anything different, or, like, they can't even see, like, each individual person has things they're good at or things that they might not be as good at, but then they might, put a whole generalization on a type of people and say, oh, because I met one or two people that fit this narrative in my head, I'm going to associate that narrative with every person I meet that looks like them or that acts like them or I think is like them. It's like, what are you talking about, man? What does that help, in a sense? What do you have to gain from that? Like, what do you have to gain from those ideas, you know? And it's not about gaining anything at all, but it's like, you're shooting yourself in the foot sometimes by, like, and I do this too, everybody does it, holding on to certainty in any sort of sense or facet. It's like, how do you know? How do you know that what you are saying is the right thing or has any, like, validity to it at all? Sure, you can back it up with hard numbers and science and facts, and it's like, but what is it for? You know, is it to be right? Is it because you see somebody saying something that's wrong and you just want to be right or correct them? It's like, I don't know, that even goes to, like, there's a difference between correcting someone and trying to teach them and, like, share the information that you have with them to bring them up to the same level intellectually, you know. It's all hypothetically speaking, but, like, in any one academic focus, you know, if you study something for a long time, you're gonna have more knowledge than the average person that hasn't taken that same time to look into it, right? So people should be more focused on sharing the knowledge in podcast form or however they want to, rather than being like, oh, I heard this guy say this and he's an idiot and I don't agree and this is why he's wrong. It's like, okay, we'll try to reach out, have a conversation with that person, be like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying. I think there are some points that we could talk about, have a conversation about. Let's go more in depth on it and see what we can find, you know. And then it goes back to having more in common than you think, you know, because I'm sure most of the time that will be the case, you know. Sometimes maybe there is somebody you don't have that much in common with, but maybe then that's more of a lesson of, okay, agree to disagree, or you can't be friends with everyone or see eye to eye on every issue with everyone. It's like, sometimes people aren't going to think the same, you know, and that's okay too. But it's like, I don't know. I keep coming back to this thought that, like, if there is a goal in life or an end spot, like something to somewhere to aspire to be to, not that you need to be there, but to live your life with some sort of sense of purpose, or, like, to fulfill that little, like, voice in the back of your head that's like, it's the idea of the self and the ego creating, but to fulfill that, maybe it's just having the realization that we're all one, that we're all made of water, we're all made of the same stuff as the universe, right? And then living like it, you know? Like, I don't know. It's, yeah, even death. It's like, I feel like a lot of people are trying sorry. My apologies. I feel like a lot of people are trying to escape death in the way of they know it's coming, they know it's inevitable, but they don't know what's after. They don't know what's coming. And like, one thing I've found time and time again is a lot of people are saying, pardon me, whether it's their own experiences or somebody they've talked to, most of the time it's all you leave your body, you see the world and your body beneath you, whatever, you rise up, immense sense of peace and joy and love, whatever it is. Peace and love, probably, I don't know how much joy, but just like relaxation, people say. And then you either choose to come back or pass on, whatever, or sometimes maybe you don't get the choice, maybe it's just okay, it's your time, you learned your lesson, or you fulfilled your purpose in some sense of the word. But I don't know, I don't think it's that scary of like, it's just the next stage of life, of existing, of like, we have what we think of as life, then we have death. What's after that? You know what I mean? And it would be crazy to think that like, oh, we're gonna die and then we're gonna worry about what's the death after death. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're dead, what do you have to worry about? It's not like you have any worldly problems. Like, now you're going on a spiritual shit. So I feel like this world that we live in before death, it's more of it's more to prepare us for the next life, maybe the spiritual journey, more than the physical journey. Well, no, this is kind of the spiritual journey in a sense. So what is after? Maybe it's like the emotional journey, maybe it's the, like, you know what I mean? But we have no idea. And yeah, it's almost hard to say if, yeah, sorry, I'm getting lost in my thoughts, lost in the sauce a little bit. Just thinking about, like, yeah, maybe that is it. It's like, live like we're all, or realize we're all one, live like it, and then you pass on to the next stage of existence, whatever it is. But it's not like, it wouldn't be like this, you know? It's like, why would there be, like, in my mind, right, when I tried to rationalize it, why would there be this stage of life and a stage of death if there wasn't, like, similar to a video game, if there wasn't some sort of progression? Like, they put barriers up in the video games for a reason, because you haven't finished or you haven't explored all there is to explore. You haven't done the quest in a certain area to get through to the next one. So it's like, what is the quest, what is the goal of this area that we call life, before we move on to the castle, the dungeon, the whatever you want to call it, if you're using video game terminology, you know? Like, yeah, I don't know. And it makes me laugh in that sense, because it's not like, it's freeing. It's I just got shivers again, like in the other episode. It's freeing to realize it's like, well, sure, maybe there is no true purpose or reason for living, and it's just to experience life and to, like, have a good time, and whatever you feel a good time is, you know? And just like, to feel some sort of happiness and joy, or enthusiasm for waking up every day and having something you truly enjoy doing and going to do it and feeling fulfilled when you do it and after you've done it. It's like, but you're only in the now, because there is only ever the now, if you can escape from the concept of time and space and gravity. And that's something I was kind of thinking of yesterday. I won't ramble on too much longer here, but something I was thinking about yesterday while I was doing the dishes And in the Matrix, where the kid bends the spoon, and they were talking about, oh, there is no spoon, and like some like the voice in my head said, oh, but you've never seen it happen in real life, so it's not possible. But I'm like, what if them saying there is no spoon, it's like there is no physical spoon as we conceptualize it, as we conceive it, because it's all the same thing. It's all vibrations, right? It's just vibrating on a different frequency, on a different level, and it's like, I had to stop for a second when I was doing that and just think and like feel my fingers and shit and go, oh yeah, I'm the vibration that's the same vibration as everything else vibrating in the entire universe that I can see, feel, smell. It's like it's all different vibrations, right? And it's, yeah, I feel like that's also fun to come back to. It's like, oh yeah, it's, why hold on to any idea too tightly at all when it is like it is all like vibrations in a sense that our brain like decodes into stuff that we can perceive, right? And even in that, again, the description is not the described, so saying everything is vibrations, it's not like, you can say it and you can conceptualize it, but you're not actually, it's not what it is, because vibration is like movement and like, you know what I mean? It's, oh, it's sick. It's fun. I love it. That's why we do this in a sense. It's like just having the realizations, having fun with it, just living and doing what you want, and like nothing is certain. Nothing's forever. So just do what you want with life, you know? It's short. The only person you really have to impress or to care about whatever in the most loose sense is yourself, because it's all you. Like you're living life for yourself, and then in you finding fulfillment and enjoyment from the things that you're doing, other people will see that and recognize it and hopefully harmonize with it and like go on to do the same thing with their life, whether it's gardening or painting or building, constructing, like whatever it is. Maybe it's demolition even. Maybe it's taking stuff down that, oh, there's this dilapidated building here, let's just take it, clean up the land, and like clean up the ground, whatever, destroy this, what is that? Destroy this thing that served its purpose in a sense, and now it can't serve a purpose anymore. So let's make the purpose of it to get rid of it, to clean up the area, to reclaim the land for something else that can be purpose, like used with purpose, and like, you know, fulfill a new goal or whatever, you know. That is, yeah, it's fun. I don't know, we're getting to 38 minutes here. I don't want to drag it on too long, and I still have one or two talking points for if I want to do another episode, which I'll probably save for tomorrow, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it is fun to give myself time between episodes to reflect on the things that I'm talking about to myself, with myself here now, and then relate it to the things that I hear going on to other moments that are only here now, you know? But yeah, don't forget to question your idea, like the idea of yourself, and like, are you driving because you enjoy the drive, or are you driving because you're trying to get somewhere, you know? It's the same with meditation or like relaxing in a sense. Are you sitting there watching your thoughts and letting them pass without interacting with them, or are you getting in the way, letting all your thoughts hit you one by one, and like letting them beat you down in a sense where you have no energy and you can't function, you can't do anything after, like, you know? Give yourself a break from yourself. But yeah, I appreciate you again. I appreciate that you're here and that you exist and you woke up and you know, you're able to experience another day on this planet, another moment of time and existence, Whatever the hell that means. But yeah, I love you. Stay safe. Good luck. And take it easy.